As a Brit writer here in sunny Jacksonville, write for my local newspaper and for American Chronicle, I'm really at great pains to understand you guys, especially you Republicans, and how you look at Sarah Palin. I really have to make this point, and I hope it makes some sense.
Why she thinks Afghanistan is more.
This is Katie Couric being interviewed herself about her interview with Sarah Palin as to whether Afghanistan is the big deal in the foreign policy situation.
Okay. Why is it much more challenging there? Can you explain that? About foreign policy. I'd like to.
This is a bit stuttery, this video, but it's about Sarah Palin being interviewed by Katie Couric, and then Katie herself is being interviewed, and really what it boils down to is
an excerpt where you ask her why she thinks Afghanistan is more of a challenge than Iraq. Okay.
What
why
Sarah
is it much more challenging there?
What Sarah thinks about Afghanistan and Iraq, and I have it here in front of me what she's actually said, that not having enough troops in Afghanistan, that the train...
Can you explain that? The logistics that we're already suggesting here, not having enough troops in the...
it's not having enough troops in there, and it's so much harder in Afghanistan because of the terrain, etc. And it's interesting that she says that bin Laden is such a leader of this terrorist movement. I really...
area right now. Things like the terrain even in Afghanistan and that border between...
the border between Pakistan, of course, you'll be talking about there, and yes, that is a problem, but the way that Republicans and a lot of people actually talk as though getting rid of bin Laden gets rid of terrorism, I mean, that really is a silly sort of concept.
Pakistan and Afghanistan, where we believe that the bin Laden is hiding out right now, and
yeah, she's about to say he's such a big leader. Well, of course he's not a leader. He wasn't behind the bombing in London and the bombing in Madrid as such. He couldn't really control much of that. You've got Muslims all over the world who are...
is still such a leader of this terrorist movement.
Sure he is,
there are many more challenges.
You get rid
there.
of him. Yeah, you're talking as if it was like the old days of the Indians. You get rid of the Indian chief and then you get rid of the problem. No, so you shoot the guy with the feathers, with a feathered headdress. This isn't how it is, folks. We create more ripples on the hatred pond all the time.
I believe that a surge in Afghanistan also will lead us to victory there.
There's no such thing as victory in Afghanistan. History tells us that the Russians couldn't do it. What is victory in Iraq or in Afghanistan? It's where you actually make every person in those two countries.
Proven to have done in Iraq, and I say, Katie, that we cannot afford to.
The surge has not worked in Iraq. What's happened is that they're minding their P's and Q's to see the results of the election. They know that any uproar at the moment favours the Republicans and favours McCain. So of course, yes, you're not seeing much from the insurgents right now, but I can tell you...
to withdraw in Iraq, that's not going to get us any better off in Afghanistan
either. It's not withdrawal.
And as our leader...
It's not withdrawal when you get out of... when you stop occupying someone else's country. That's not a retreat and withdrawal. What you've got is hatred going right across the world for the things that are happening there. The Hadith
are telling us in our military, we do need to ramp it up in Afghanistan,
You can't ramp it up in Afghanistan, and it has to be a United Nations group who do it, not just people in jet planes bombing houses and killing civilians. That's not winning the hearts and minds of people. That's just widening the hatred
on
ripples.
Our friends and allies to assist with us there, because these terrorists who hate America...
They don't hate America. What they hate is the fact that Palestinians are being brutally treated by our allies' friends, and we don't pounce upon it. 27 vetoes in the United Nations against that America stopped where Israel has been
They
brutal.
hate what we stand for with the freedoms, the democracy, the women's
That
rights, the
is
tall.
absolutely rubbish. They don't hate our freedoms. They're not concerned about how we treat our women or the fact that we allow women to vote or women to drive cars or whatever. What they hate is the fact that we are in their nations and we're in their countries and influencing their freedoms. That's what they hate.
What it is that we represent, and our allies too, and our friends, what they represent.
No one else is saying this. No one else, no other nation is saying this. Just America and just Republican America. We really need to get over this business of them trying to bring our country down and hating us and hating our freedom. That is a load of crap, obviously. You know what?
If we were
need
to
to
allow a stronghold to be captured by these terrorists, then the world isn't even.
This is just like this, you might say, just the supposed headquarters of Al-Qaeda. The people who want to be radical are now spread all over the world, and including in America. They just keep quiet about it.
A greater peril than it is today. We cannot afford to lose in Afghanistan.
Even if there was another
Basically,
9/11 in 15 years, we would not have won the war on terrorism. They always have the upper hand. We know, the British know about IRA. We had to forgive them the fact that they bombed Maggie Thatcher's hotel. We had to let the people go. We had to talk.
To compare and contrast the challenges, which are quite different when it comes to a counterinsurgency in Iraq.
We have to get out of Iraq and leave them to their own devices. We have to do something in Afghanistan as a United Nations thing. It's not an American thing, and they can't be in charge of it. And you can't use jet planes to counter insurgency. It's got to be on foot patrol. I'm Patrick Lockyer, and I was a Thatcher conservative all my life, most of my life. I was always self-employed in the UK. I came here 8 years ago, and I find myself being opposed to conservatism now.